Fuel Run Dry, the incredible story of Air Canada Flight 143. The afternoon of July 23, 1983, began like any other summer day at Ottawa International Airport as Air Canada Flight 143 prepared for its journey to Edmonton with a stop in Montreal. The Boeing 767-200, registration C gone, represented the cutting edge of aviation technology. One of the first aircraft to feature a glass cockpit with computerized flight management systems. Captain Bob Pearson, a veteran pilot with over 15,000 flight hours, and First Officer Maurice Quintal, a former Royal Canadian Air Force pilot, completed their pre-flight checks with no indication of the unprecedented challenge they would soon face. The aircraft pushed back from the gate at 4:35 p.m. with 61 passengers and 8 crew members aboard, all unaware they were about to become part of aviation history. As Flight 143 climbed through 41,000 feet over Red Lake, Ontario, the first warning lights illuminated at 6:21 p.m. The cockpit's electronic instrument panel displayed an ominous fuel pressure low message for the left engine, followed moments later by a piercing alarm as the engine flamed out completely. Captain Pearson immediately initiated emergency procedures, while First Officer Quintal declared an emergency with air traffic control. Before they could complete the engine restart checklist, a second alarm sounded as the right engine also lost power, leaving the massive twin jet gliding silently through Canadian airspace with no working engines. A scenario so improbable it wasn't covered in standard training protocols. The pilots faced a terrifying reality. Their state-of-the-art aircraft had become the world's heaviest glider. The 767's computerized systems, designed to rely on engine power, began shutting down one by one. The electronic flight instrument displays went dark, leaving only a few backup analog gauges operational. The aircraft's ram air turbine automatically deployed, providing minimal hydraulic pressure and electrical power to critical flight controls. Captain Pearson, an experienced glider pilot in his private life, instinctively recognized the need to maximize their glide ratio, while First Officer Quintal calculated their rapidly diminishing options. Air traffic control vectored them toward the former Royal Canadian Air Force Base at Gimli, now a decommissioned airstrip that had been converted to a drag racing track. As Flight 143 descended through 10,000 feet, the crew realized they faced another life-threatening complication. The 767's advanced fuel-powered hydraulic system couldn't lower the landing gear without engine power. They would need to attempt a gravity drop of the gear, a manual procedure with no guarantee of success. Meanwhile, below them, the old Gimli runway was hosting a family drag racing event with cars and spectators directly in their path. First Officer Quintal made repeated mayday calls to warn people to clear the area as Captain Pearson fought to maintain control of the powerless jetliner. At 6:45 p.m., Flight 143 made its final approach to Gimli at nearly twice the normal landing speed. The gravity drop had only partially extended the main landing gear, and the nose gear failed to deploy at all. Captain Pearson executed a perfect side-slip maneuver to bleed off excess speed, touching down on the abandoned runway with such precision that the aircraft remained controllable despite the damaged gear. The nose section slammed onto the tarmac in a shower of sparks as the 767 skidded to a stop just yards from terrified spectators and parked vehicles. Miraculously, all 69 people aboard survived with only minor injuries, though the aircraft sustained significant damage. The subsequent investigation revealed an astonishing chain of errors rooted in Canada's recent transition to the metric system. Ground crew in Ottawa had calculated the fuel load using pounds instead of the required kilograms, resulting in only about half the necessary fuel being loaded. The aircraft's new fuel quantity indication system was inoperative that day due to a maintenance issue, requiring manual calculations that were incorrectly performed. These failures combined with inadequate cross-checking procedures to create a perfect storm of circumstances that left Flight 143's fuel tanks empty mid-flight. The Gimli glider, as it became known, revolutionized aviation safety procedures worldwide. Airlines implemented mandatory double checks for fuel calculations and improved training for emergency scenarios. The incident demonstrated the critical importance of maintaining basic flying skills even in highly automated aircraft, leading to changes in pilot training curricula. Today, Seagon's remarkable story is studied by aviation professionals as both a cautionary tale about human factors and an inspiring example of crew resource management under extreme duress. The aircraft itself was repaired and returned to service, flying for another 25 years before retirement, a testament to both Boeing's engineering and the skill of two pilots who turned certain disaster into one of aviation's most celebrated emergency landings.